Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week I came up with an idea for my top 10 list and I went to my safety deposit box and I started pulling out notes. And when I came home, I started going through some of my binders, and as I was doing this, I got a note from Chris Padrich. Chris Padrich had the suggestion, why don't you do the top 10 notes that you bought in 2021? And it just so happens that these are the exact notes that I was pulling out of my safety deposit box. So since I had the idea and Chris had the idea, instead of doing a top 10, I'm going to do a top 20. So these are going to be the top 20 notes that I got in 2021. So it's my year in review. This week I'll do notes numbers 20 through 11, and next week I will do notes 10 through 1. So you get a 2 for the price of 1. Chris, thank you very much. Chris Padrich, I will put a link down to your channel in the description, in theory, if I can figure out how to do it. Anyway, let's see what I have for the top 10/20 notes of this year. Number 20. Number 20, I picked up a fractional. This is a 50-cent fractional. This is known as the spinner note. The reason why this note is as cool as it is, it's not in the greatest of shape, I know that. But the thing is that this was the last time that a live person was pictured on a note before the law was changed. This note is one of the top 100 notes to collect, and you may think, well, why? What's the big deal? I said, well, aside from the fact that it is the last note to feature a live person, the live person it features was also the person who determined who gets to go on the notes. So the spinner note came to be because Spinner decided to put himself on the note. So yeah, I wanted to get a hold of one of these. Like I said, mine isn't in the greatest of condition, but I've got one. And first and foremost, whenever I do my collecting, I want to get the note, and then if I find a better one along the line, maybe I'll pick one up. But now I don't have to go out hunting this note. It is a top 100 note, and I own one now. So that's number 20 on my list. Number 19. I was going through a binder at one of the coin shops, and I spotted this. Now, this is a 1928A, and it's a silver certificate, and of course, it's a funny back. Now, once again, not in the greatest of shape, but it's a star. And I don't have a whole lot of star notes, especially when it comes to older notes. I don't think I've got a legitimate large size star. I do have notes that have stars on them that are large size, but they weren't replacement notes. This is actually a replacement note, so it's a star note the way that we all understand star notes to be. And like I said, I didn't have this particular star note. So to pull a 1928A silver certificate star note, that's a funny back. Yeah, that was kind of cool. So I wanted to make sure that I included this in my top 20. This is number 19. Number 18. I tell you guys about this stuff all the time. This is a $50 note from 1934. 50s, especially older 50s, you don't see a lot of older 50s. They don't print very many $50 bills. It's not a note that is heavily circulated. So finding old 50s is a little trickier, and in my belief, are very much undervalued. Like I said, there weren't a lot to begin with, so there weren't that many that were saved. So even in rougher condition, you know, it's worth picking up. Now, this particular $50 note, you'll notice, has the lime green or the light green seal. And I'm a big fan of the light green seal, so this to me covered two bases. It covered an old 50 and a lime green seal. So I was twice as happy picking up this particular note. The back, of course, is your standard note. He had 70 on the back. He had 65 on the front. I probably got it for 60 bucks when it was all said and done. But still, $10 over face, $15 over face for a light green, lime green $50 bill from 1934. That's a great pickup on my part. And if you can find stuff like this, you should scoop it up as well. This is number 18 on my list. Number 17. I had been watching this note for years at my local coin shop because my local coin shop is in Kenosha. This is a $5 national currency. You can see right up top here, series of 1902. 1902, First National Bank of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Now, with national currencies, you had to get a charter number. This particular charter number is right here, 212. So, hey, it's a radar, and the serial number down here is a trinary. So there's all kinds of just neat little things on here. But the most important thing for me is that it was the First National Bank of Kenosha, and that's the town I live in. So to have a national from your hometown, that's pretty cool. He had been asking $600 for this note, and I remember staring at this note for close to 2 years. And I finally made him an offer, and he let it go. So I was able to get this national currency from my hometown. So yeah, one of the notes I'm very proud to have, number 17 on the list, 2019-18, number 17. Number 16, I've got two notes. And why do I have two notes? To show you the difference. These are $5 wood choppers. One of these I've had for a while. I believe this was the one that I've had for a while. It's in pretty nice shape, a decent note. The wood chopper, of course, is the man holding his axe. He's got his dog, his gun, his wife, his baby, his house in the background there, and yeah, that's why it's called the wood chopper. It's a $5 legal tender. You can see on the top it says United States note and legal tender for $5. But the back of the note's what's important. Now, like I said, this note I've had for a while, so this is not the note, but this note is the note that I was talking about, because this note has the public error. If you look right here, you can see the U is broken. So instead of PUB, it looks like PCB. That is the public error because the plate broke on that particular bill. Now, I've always been fond of the wood chopper, and for me to actually find one of the public error notes, I was excited for that, and I had to scoop that one up. So that is number 16, 2019, 18, 17, 16. Number 15. This was one of my wish list notes, believe it or not. It's a $100 note, and it's a small size type 1 national currency. This is from the Merchants National Bank of Aurora, Illinois. It's a fairly low number, 000128. Now, why this was a wish list note? It was one of the few $100 small size notes that I don't have, or I didn't have at the time. Once again, it's a type 1. I'll explain the difference in that a little bit later on. But yeah, since I didn't have one of these, it was a big deal for me to get this one. And this particular one is in really nice shape as well. You can see it's got a little bit of rust on the bottom, but the rest of the note's in really good shape. So I was happy to scoop this one up and cross it off the list. That is number 15. Number 14 on my list. It is a 1776 continental currency. This is known as the Fugio note. The Fugio note, this particular one, is one of the top 100 notes to collect. It is the Mind Your Business note. You can see it right there, Mind Your Business. I always found that entertaining. The Mind Your Business, 1/6 of a dollar. 1776, February 1776 note. Whenever you can have constitutional currency like that, that's pretty impressive. 1/6 of a dollar. You can see on the back has these chain links. There are 13 of them, and each chain link has one of the 13 states listed on the back. So yeah, a very, very cool note. Like I said, one of the top 100 notes. Anytime you can have a note that's over 200 years old, owning a piece of paper that's over 250 years old is pretty impressive. So that is number 14, 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Number 13. I talked about national currencies before with that 100. This is a 1929 Type 2. Now, this is the only Type 2 note that the first Type 2 note that I have. What makes it a Type 2? Well, this particular one was put out, I believe, in 1933, if I recall. Type 2s were only out in 1933, 34, 35. All that before that were Type 1s. And the way you can tell the difference is looking at the serial number. This serial number is here. This serial number is here. But you'll notice there's a bunch of extra numbers after the serial number. That's because they put the charter number here and here. And they put the charter number here and here. whereas on the Type 1s, there is no charter number there. So this is a Type 1, and this is a Type 2. Now for my Type 2, I decided I wanted a 50, and it's graded. It's not in the greatest shape, but because it's graded, I don't have to debate anybody on it. There it is. It's a 15. Being a Type 2 and being a $50 note, like I said before, 50s are fairly rare. So I have a $50 note, and if I remember right, the Bank of America National Trust and Savings Association of San Francisco, that is what became Bank of America today. So yeah, that's a fairly famous bank to have a particular note from. And the back, of course, looks just like it would. So that is number 13. Number 12. Number 12 is another large size note. This one I got early on in the year. It's an 1891 Treasury note. Once again, it is graded. It has a star, but it is not a replacement note. All of these had stars. Now, a Treasury note isn't a gold certificate, isn't a silver certificate. It is a Treasury note. The Treasury is who is guaranteeing this, and they aren't guaranteeing it in any specific way. You can see the United States of America will pay $1 in coin. Okay, so it could be silver, it could be gold, it could be platinum, it could be copper. The Treasury has in coin $1, and that is what this represents. So by redeeming this, you could get anything. It was backed simply by the Treasury and not by gold or silver, backed by coin in and of itself. And that does make it its own type of note, a Treasury note versus a gold certificate versus a silver certificate. This is the only Treasury note I have, and there aren't very many to get, so this one meant something to me to actually get. That's number 12. And finally, number 11, or number 1 this week. This is my 1864 $500 Confederate States of America note. It's a note that I've wanted for a long time. A large denomination note like this. This particular one's graded. It does have a stain on it over here. The stain does go all the way through like that. I'm not going to try to guess what that stain is. I'm just simply going to say it is a Confederate States of America note, and it's been circulated. Now, CSAs are neat because they are hand-signed. If you look real close, you can see that the ink is starting to break up. It actually does have an orange hue when you compare it to the black ink that was used here. You can see the difference in color. That's how you know it was hand-signed, and that it was hand-signed a long time ago for the iron in the ink to actually start to degrade. So yeah, this is one of the notes I always wanted to get. I managed to find one in circulated or in graded condition. And because it was graded, that's kind of what made me decide to pick it up. I picked it up for a lot less than that, but still, that means I picked it up for under face value, which is also kind of cool to do. All right, so that is number 11. That is notes 20 through 11 of my top 10 pickups from 2021. Stay tuned for next week when I knock out numbers 10 through 1. And Chris Padrich, thank you very much for the suggestion. Apparently great minds think alike. If you guys learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments, and I will see you again next week.